Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. This is your girl, this is your Highland girl with our stories. Yes man, so you're welcome back. Are you liking, are you sharing, and are you subscribing? Yes, and if you haven't subscribed, why not? Why you aren't subscribing? Don't you like the stories or you want to know what's coming next? Yes, so here I am sitting down with two teddy bears. And you're like, okay, it's not Valentine yet. I know it's not Valentine, but I'm just here to give you a story upon this one and to tell you a story about once upon a time. So as I said, once upon a time, donkey was a swine, drop off a line and break him behind. But this is not about that jackass that broke his behind. This is about something else. But before I go and this teddy is 23 years. This teddy was bought for my daughter when she was 7, and if I said it was bought when she was 7, then you know if it's 23 years, you know how she's going to be, right? So hanging out with Teddy, and he cannot sing like Teddy Pendergrass, but he can charm you. Listen to this. Let him charm you.
May I have one more hug?
All right. Charm them for me.
You can do it,
Oh,
please. Can I have another hug?
really?
Wow, that is a great hug. You make me feel so special when you hug me. I love you. That is a terrific hug. I would love a hug like that anytime.
I'm sure you would love a hug like that anytime. Like this, right? So anyways, belongs to my daughter. Belongs to my daughter, and she said she didn't want it anymore because she is not a little girl anymore, but you know, it's a sentiment. And sometimes you go places and you see people with their teddy bear. It's a sentiment, and you might say, oh my gosh, why does this person have so many teddy bear around the house? It's sentiments, and especially for grandparents and parents and stuff like that. And some people don't understand it, and some people said you should not have those things inside your house, but it's just a sentiment. It's not like we're cherishing and worshiping it. I'm not worshiping this thing. It's just a sentiment. So while you're liking, sharing, and you're subscribing, pull up a chair and let us get into this story. And this story is about once upon a time. So once upon a time in Jamaica, Spanish Town to be exact, there lives this little girl, and the girl lives with her dad. And so it was coming on to Christmas times, and this girl was so happy and you know always running around the house singing Christmas carols and stuff like that, right? So things was going to change for this child, but she has no clue yet. She has no idea what was in store for her. So the day before the Christmas tree lightings, and that's all she can talk about. That's all that was on her mind. And we're going to see the Christmas tree lights for the very first time, and that was all. It's almost like when you were going to field trip or Disney World or something like that, right? And you're so excited you can't sleep, and the only thing that on your mouth, on your lips, and all the thing you were talking about, it was going to see whatever. You're going to Disney World, you're gonna see Mickey Mouse and Minnie Mouse, you know. So bring you in to know, you understand how excited this kid was to see a Christmas tree lighting for the very first time. Now this kid used to live in the countryside and now moved to the city, and so she have never seen a Christmas tree. She have never seen the lighting of a Christmas tree, and so she's in the city now. So you know, city life different from country life. So yeah. So her dad called her and said, hey girl, hey, go and fill up the mug inside. So you remember one time your grandmother have the big enamel mug that have one enamel plate, we cover it with one little enamel cup where you use to take up the water and pour into your cup where you go drink water. Yes man, so it was something like that. And so she went outside to go fill the cup, but water was about to shut off. And you know when water is about to shut off, it's got tip 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 tip. So it's really not running. Like you turn on the tap, it would not go out as fast as would you like it. But this kid was so excited in going to see a Christmas tree lighting for the very first time. So she was in the back and she was talking and she was laughing, but she keep, periodically just go check to see if it was full yet, not knowing that one of the dog that was outside already drank some water from it. So she's running back and forth. She didn't see the dog. The dad saw the dog, but she didn't see the dog. So now she's running now to go take it up, and her father rushed towards it, not saying anything to this kid why he rushed, and he poured the water out into a spot that if you had a outside pipe, and sometimes children who lives there who go play in the water for certain times, there is a certain spot that is like a little mud creek that is there, and the father poured the water out of the container in that mud creek, and he made like he was making a mud pie. It a mud pudding. Let's put it a pudding where it's not too hard and it's not too soft. It's a pudding. So he made a mud pudding into that thing, and he had her dress in his hands, and she stopped by and she's looking and she said, what is he going to do? Why does he have my dress? The only dress that she's saying, why does dad have my dress? And she's like wondering, but she's not getting it. It's almost like it was too real for her to see in her mind, to wrap her mind around what the dad was going to do with the dress. So she stopped, she stood, it's like time stops, and she just froze, and she's there just looking. And when the dad finished making that mud, that mud pie, that mud pudding, that mud, that's thick mud, he took the dress and he rubbed the dress. He just rubbed the dress all over, just rubbed the dress until when he picked up the dress, like he was checking it. When you're doing something and you want to check to see if it was done properly, and when he picked up the dress, the mud was so thick on it, it wouldn't even slide off. And then that dad tossed the dress back into the mud hole and finished and like covered the dress with the mud and just walk away, saying, I gave you something to do. You did not do what I asked you, and you let the dog drink out of the cup that you were filling, and that's what you get. And that man was telling that kid some type of words, some kinds of word that was not favorable for any human being to be heard, to hear those words tossing at them as a child from an adult. And so with tears in that little girl's eyes coming down, with tears, she cried. She now have to pick up the same enamel mug, wash it, and remember the pipe is tip, so you know how long it takes for her to wash out that container, and then wait tip until it was full, and then turn around to try to see if she could wash the mud out. And remember, as I said, the water wasn't coming heavy, so with tip, you're not getting enough water to wash that dress. And with tears, she was just crying and trying to wash the dress out. And the beauty about it, he refused to let her use the soap to see if she could clean that dress. And so some of the other kids that was there gather around her, and some of them was coming with little pans of water from behind behind their house and everybody, and trying to help this little girl to wash her dress. The only thing is, after all of the mud come off. No, that dress was damaged. The dress was, the dress was a floral dress that had a beautiful mint green. It's like eggshell green. If you know what eggshell green is, it's an eggshell green, white and black floral, beautiful dress. And that the white now looks like it was brown, and it was not the same. And with tears, she tried to wring it because she didn't have a dryer that she could just go toss it in the dryer and never care about, just wash it out the best way she could. But it was not like that, and the sun was going down, so she has no way of getting that little dress dry so she could go to see that Christmas tree lighting. Yeah. So in this conversational piece, what is going through your mind? Like, because what goes to my mind is, if that dad did not want that child to go because it was gonna be a night thing. Christmas tree lighting is when it's dark and it's look better in the dark, right? So if that dad did not want the little girl to go, even though she was going with grown-ups and other children, and was told to make sure that stick with each other and make sure that everybody would be okay, if that dad did not want that child to go, wouldn't it be better? I'm having a hiccup. Wouldn't it be better if he had said, you know what, I don't feel comfortable enough for you to go. I am not going to be there, so I don't want you to go. Wouldn't that be a better way if that was his reason for doing that? And I know some of you are gonna say, so what happened after that? She just cried and went to bed. When everybody dressed up and running through the gate going, she had tears in her eyes, and she just go to bed, lay down and cry herself to sleep. Do you ever see that girl again? Yeah. That girl grown up, went through some struggles in life, but come out shining. Been going through a lot, like taking out her thyroid, having problem with her eyes, but still managed to be laughing and still managed to tell her story. And you're like, oh my God, is that you? Yes. That little girl was me. That's happened to me. True story. True story. So sometimes, when I sit down and they said, honor your mother and your father, that your days may be long upon the earth. And I personally have to dig deep down in my heart to remember what the Bible says. And I have people that says you're crazy because I wouldn't care. Sometimes when you forgive people, forgive them for yourself and not for them. Forgive them for yourself, for your own self, for your mental stage, your mental health. Forgive them for your mental health. And I've seen parents that did less than that to their parent, and that kid just walk away. So today's children are different from when we were growing up. Today's children have a way of not thinking that, well, I forgive you, I just don't want anything to do with you. For less than that. Yeah. So guys, thank you for liking, thank you for sharing, thank you for listening, and please remember, put your comment in the make a comment, say how you feel about the situation and all of that, and you might ask me a question like, so is he still alive? Yes, he's still alive. Do you do anything for him? Yes, I do. Yes, I do. We don't know why parents did the thing they did to us growing up. We don't know. We don't know if they had mental health issues. We don't know. We don't know if they're bipolar. We don't know if they're schizophrenic. We don't know. So, children, honor your mother and your father that your life may be long upon this earth. What good? You're here?